to college football. The Daytona 500, the Indianapolis 500, the World Series, the NFL, and the FIFA World Cup 2026. The world's biggest events are on Fox Sports. We are
On this episode of The Story Behind the Story, I sit down with Mike Rowe and talk about his podcast, The Way I Heard It, and how we can learn to be cool under pressure from the most powerful radio broadcaster in history. Here's Mike with the man behind the microphone.
The tension hung in the air, a palpable thing. With 2 down and runners on the corners, the batter crowded the plate, and the pitcher waited for his sign. He got it and unleashed a fastball, very high and very inside. The batter ducked, both benches leapt to their feet, and the umpire issued a warning. Now, with the count at 3-2, and the prospect of a brawl very real, the man behind the microphone knew exactly how to play it. It all comes down to this, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth. This epic confrontation where 2 men meet on the field of battle, but only one can prevail. In kitchens and living rooms across the country, fans leaned into their radios and held their collective breath as the pitcher went into his stretch. The runner on first bolted for second. The pitcher ignored him and served up a wicked slider. The batter swung and sent the ball deep into left field, but just foul. The crowd groaned, but stayed on their feet. The catcher walked to the mound for a quick conference. The batter stepped back into the box and waited for the sign he wanted. He got it. This time, a changeup and another foul ball high into the cheap seats. The announcer described the chaos as 2 men in the stands fought for the souvenir, painting a picture that came alive in the minds of all those who listened. But the drama was just getting started. The next 3 pitches were all foul balls, each sent to a different part of the stadium. So were the next 3 pitches after that. So were the next 3 after that. It was an extraordinary opportunity for the tall Irish kid with the radio voice and the Hollywood smile, and he made the most of every second. The batter stepping out of the box at the last moment to disrupt the pitcher's timing. The pitcher prowling the mound like a caged tiger, determined to get into the batter's head. Each pitch had become a chess match, a steely test of wills brought to life by the announcer's urgent baritone, a voice that dripped with anticipation and possibility. Another foul ball, and another after that, and another after that. Finally, after 14 foul balls, half a dozen trips to the mound, and nearly 12 minutes of unrelenting tension, the man behind the microphone set the scene for the final time. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, another moment of truth in this battle royale, another payoff pitch in this eternal showdown, this operatic contest of wills. Both men are exhausted and both understand exactly what they must do. Here's the windup, and here's the pitch. It's a strike, fast and hard, right down the middle, and the side is retired. And so ended one of the most unusual at-bats in the history of baseball. A called third strike on a batter of no great consequence, from a pitcher of no particular acclaim, in a game of no great importance, chronicled for posterity by an announcer who made the whole thing up. It's true. The batter did strike out, but all those foul balls and everything in between, that was a figment of the sportscaster's imagination. You see, in those days, baseball games were called by announcers in radio stations far from the actual ballpark. They sat in small gray rooms behind large gray microphones, waiting for a telegraph operator to send them the play-by-play, which they would then bring to life as best they could. But when this particular telegraph signal was interrupted in the middle of this particular game, this particular sportscaster, he didn't panic. The man behind the microphone closed his eyes and called the game exactly the way he imagined it, and the fans loved him for it. And so, decades later, it came as no great surprise when America sat down to watch the biggest game of the year and listened with rapt attention to the play-by-play delivered by the now legendary broadcaster, a man who understood the importance of choosing just the right words at just the right time. Once again, the tension hung in the air, a palpable thing, and the prospect of a brawl seemed very real. And once again, when the moment came for the payoff pitch, the words he chose did not appear on his teleprompter or on the approved transcript on the podium before him. No, the words he chose on that particular day were his and his alone.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
This was no game, but those words were a strike nevertheless, thrown fast and hard and right down the middle, delivered extemporaneously by the man behind the microphone, a man who knew exactly how to play it, the 40th president of these United States and the most influential sportscaster of all time, Ronald Reagan. Anyway, that's the way I heard it.
Okay, how much of the play-by-play did you read, and how much did you know about what actually happened that 14-minute fateful moment for Ronald Reagan?
So there's no transcript of any of it. I mean, all I knew for sure was what I told you in the story, that these games were called by people who couldn't see the action. So it's not just the 14 minutes that Reagan filled with complete fiction. It's the rest of the game, too. You get your little teletype, and you can't just say, okay, that was a strike. You have to say, and there's a strike low and away. Oh, he got him faked out on that when he was looking for a fastball and he got a slider. They made that stuff up all the time to give it color. But nobody ever had to fill 14 minutes during a ball game like that. So, yeah, I made up all of the blather because there's no transcript. But if you really think about it, it had to be something like that. It had to be.
So episode 55 of your blog, That's the Way I Heard It, you're writing something you're having to make up, just like Ronald Reagan did. You had to make up just the same way he did. So you're writing that entire piece there.
You can't tell the story without doing the story.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, it gets a little meta. And yeah, I chewed the scenery up a bit, and I had some fun with the language. But really, this is one of those stories where I wasn't looking to tell this story. I was trying to understand something I read about the speech, the whole tear down this wall speech.
Okay.
I read somewhere that he wanted to say it, and his speechwriters and his staff and everybody said no.
Right.
Do not put the Soviets in a corner like that. Not on that big of a stage. Do not do it. Don't do it, right? Okay. All right. All right. And then he does it. And what shocked me about it wasn't, you can't call it insubordination because he's the leader of the free world, right? But the fact that he ignored the prompter. And we've talked about the prompter before.
Right.
It's the devil's tool, right? You know, Harold Hill in, what is it, The Music Man, talked about the pool hall as the devil's playground.
Yeah.
No, pool's all right. A teleprompter is the devil's playground, right? And
thank God there's not one in here.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be awkward. I'd go another way if there was.
Got it.
But he ignored what was on the prompter, and he ignored what was in his transcript. And he said what he thought was the right thing to say in that moment. And I just thought, how can you account for that level of freelancing? The leader of the free world, everybody's watching. Never mind focus groups. This speech had been weighed and measured. Every syllable had been calculated. Everybody was sitting. This is one of the most important speeches of all time. And the most important part of one of the most important speeches of all time, he makes up. He just does it.
He ad-libs.
Yeah. So my question was, did something happen in his life earlier that could in some way inform that moment?
My goodness.
And when I found this story, a 20-some-year-old kid who found a way to make up 14 minutes of a baseball game, not just fill the time, but make it great. Just made it great. So, somewhere between performance and authenticity is this weird mix of credibility. And that's what Reagan had it his whole life, and he used it with extreme prejudice. He's good at it.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom will return on MeTV.
Athletic competition can be frightening, a dangerous place, totally and completely out of control, where a fine point separates life from death. Here's an extraordinary videotape journey into the terrifying side of athletic competition you'll never forget. It's a place competitors fear, where the rules of the game mean absolutely nothing, and survival is everything. Where dreams can collapse at every turn. Yes, Fear is a brutally honest look at what can go wrong. Digitally recorded and stretched to the breaking point. Fear is a 45-minute uncensored collection containing the most heart-stopping action. Beware, this video is not for the faint of heart. And right now, experience Fear for only $14.95. This home run offer includes a second video for free. It's called Folly, a huge collection of hilarious bloopers and blunders, funny gaffes, and lively laughs. An outrageous array of crazy comedy clips, including some never seen before on TV. As a special surprise, we've even included incredible superstar sports pranks that will have you howling with laughter. And remember, Folly is free when you order the first video, Fear. The two-tape set of Fear and Folly was produced by Emmy Award-winning Steve Rotfeld Productions. They're not available in stores, and satisfaction is guaranteed. Here's how to order. For fastest delivery, have your credit card ready and call the toll-free number on your screen now. The two-tape collection of Fear and Folly are only $14.95. Or send check or money order to the address on your screen now. Your complete satisfaction is guaranteed, so call the number on your screen and order Fear and Folly right now.
We now return to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom on MeTV.
We're really talking about preparation, but preparation is one thing. You know, while we're sitting here watching the little movies, you know, we write down notes. We're talking. One of the funnest things in the world to do, though, by the way, is sit with Mike Rowe and watch Mike Rowe watch a movie we made about something Mike Rowe wrote and have him mouth his own words, you know, simultaneously with the movie. That was really fun. Okay.
Well, wait. You've got to put yourself in my place, right? I wrote that story on an airplane 2.5 years ago. He calls me and says, this story would be more interesting if we bring it to life with actors. I say, you're out of your mind. He said, that may be, but I'm going to do it anyway. And now he does it. And now I'm sitting here talking to him, right? And he was right. You know, great casting, really fun to watch. And yes, I'm tickled to watch my words, you know, come to life like that.
Make me a ringtone out of the Matt was right thing. Thank you. So, Mike, episode 55, being cool under pressure. There's a couple of scriptures that we found that sit beautifully on top of this. James 1, consider it pure joy when you face trials, knowing that under pressure, your faith produces perseverance. So don't try to get out anything prematurely. Okay, that's kind of a big one. Let it do its work so you become mature, well-developed, lacking nothing. So, under pressure leads to some good things done correctly. How do you connect personally to this story you found of Ronald Reagan making up 14 minutes ad lib, you know, going then to the most important speech one of them ever made and ad libbing? Where's the personal connection into this? Because you wrote it.
Yeah, well, I mean, on a macro level, the personal connection is I'm living in a world that I think is demonstrably better as a result of that wall coming down.
Sure.
So, thanks. On a micro personal level,
you like saying that, don't you?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's terribly clever.
Yeah.
But when I looked into that whole baseball thing, and by the way, I'm a big baseball fan too. You'll see baseball pop up in these stories a lot, you know, especially in that time. So there was a lot about it that I liked, but what I loved about it was that suddenly I found myself really commiserating with Ronald Reagan. My first job in television was on the QVC cable shopping channel, where I sat 4 nights a week for 3 years, for 3 hours at a time, talking incessantly about whatever thing they brought to me.
And you're going to be delivering some of that footage to us, right?
It's on the YouTubes right now. It's just go ahead and
okay, have at it.
Google micro cat sack, right? And you'll see me talk for a long time about a cat sack, which is really just a garbage bag lined with Mylar. It's a cat toy, right? The cat crawls into the cat sack, and the crinkling sound, the cats just can't get enough of it. Okay, now this is a real product. They bring it to me at 2 o'clock in the morning with a cat. So I got a cat to demonstrate the cat sack with. The cat's not gonna crawl in a sack. The cat took one look at that thing and was like, no. So the cat's out, and I'm just sitting there alone with a paper bag lined with Mylar that crinkles. Now I got 8 minutes to talk about this thing, okay? So, you know, it could have been the cat sack, it could have been the Health Team infrared pain reliever, it could have been the Amcor negative ion generator. These were all items you might expect to find in that machine on the Carnival Midway with the claw, right? Right? Stuff that never sold in prime time. That's what they gave me in the middle of the night. So, you know, for 3 years, I sat there on the graveyard shift trying to figure out a way to sell these things. And you get 8, 9, 12 minutes at a shot to say absolutely nothing about a thing that didn't sell in prime time and nobody really wants. It's a sack for your cat. Okay, stretch, Mike. You got another 20 minutes. So
and sell them.
Or sell them. Yeah. So anyway, I related to the idea that, look, you can have a plan. My betters, my contemporaries at QVC, the other hosts, they'd come in 3 hours early. They'd look at these products. They'd research them. They'd make lists of the features and the benefits. They'd try and figure out who invented them. They'd go out with all their notes, and they'd sit there, and then somebody'd hand them a cat sack, and they'd be prepared, right?
Okay.
Well, I didn't want to do that. Now, what's the fun in selling a cat sack if you're prepared? I found it more interesting to try and figure out a way to keep the conversation going.
You just like saying cat sack.
I do.
Yeah.
And they spelled it K-A-T-S-A-K because they were terribly clever. The point is, when I read about Reagan trying to fill that time, yeah, I thought about my first job in TV. Now, I don't have anything else in common with Ronald Reagan, but I had that. And so, on a self-absorbed level, most of these stories I write usually do have something in them that in some weird way rhymes with my own misspent career. And this one's no exception.
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom will return on MeTV.
Jordan has devoted a lifetime to connecting cutting-edge science with ancient biblical wisdom and believes this may be one of Scripture's greatest health secrets. In Revelation 22, the Bible describes the tree of life bearing 12 different fruits and declares that the leaves are for the healing of the nations. Jordan put Scripture to the test and discovered a uniquely potent combination of 12 healing fruit tree leaves. What was most astonishing is that modern science now confirms what Scripture declared thousands of years ago. These leaves are rich in powerful nutrients that support digestion and immunity, help maintain healthy inflammation, and boost natural energy. That's why Jordan created Healing Leaves Tea. No more handfuls of capsules or scoops of bitter powders, just a delicious, caffeine-free tea made from sacred plants. Simple, convenient, and refreshing, hot or cold.
And best of all, part of your purchase will go towards helping TBN Ministries spread the gospel of Jesus Christ all over the globe. Receive the gift of health and give the gift of life.
TBN viewers can receive a full 3-month supply of Healing Leaves tea for just $149.95 when you become a preferred customer. That's only $1.67 per serving. You'll also receive free shipping and a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you can begin this daily tea ritual with complete confidence. To order, call the number on your screen or visit tbntea.com. And remember, every purchase today and in the future helps support TBN.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
We now return to Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom on MeTV.
Another scripture for you.
Oh, because after a cat sack,
yeah,
what's the Bible tell us about cat sack?
Live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, leave the rest to God.
That's a scripture?
No, that's Ronald Reagan's quote.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, I was trying to trick you.
It's a good one.
I've always believed that a lot of the trouble in this world would disappear if we were talking to each other rather than about each other. There's Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
You can jump off that for a minute.
Well, look, I don't know if he read that off a script. I don't know if he's paraphrasing. I have no idea what the context of that was. But I don't mean to imply with this story that Reagan was only good under pressure. He was good in all situations. He was called the great communicator.
Sure.
But isn't it interesting that the skill that I most relate to that he had as a communicator was the ability to make stuff up? However, you remember when the Challenger blew up?
Yeah.
I mean, the country felt like it had taken a gut punch. It was beyond sad. And Peggy Noonan, his speechwriter, found a quote from a poem. And so this is like the opposite of everything I've said. This is Reagan reading off the prompter, the exact words that Peggy Noonan wrote as quoted from a poem that was written by somebody else.
The crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us for the manner in which they lived their lives. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them this morning, as they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye and slipped the surly bonds of Earth to touch the face of God. Thank you.
So, you know, when you're a great communicator, it really doesn't much matter if you're quoting, paraphrasing, reading off a prompter, or just making it up as you go. If you believe it, then I feel like that gets through the lens.
So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the train wreck, the collision of preparation and impromptu. How do we land this episode of The Way You Heard It?
How about with authenticity?
Okay.
How about we go back to the teleprompter is the devil's playground?
Okay.
Why? Because in our business, we want them to believe us. We want them to see this conversation as authentic. We know that. I know we're on the same page. So then the question becomes, have we done anything to create a barrier between what we want and what we deliver? Are we making it easier for ourselves or harder for ourselves? Does a teleprompter really make people believe you more? When you flick around and you watch the news, Fox or CNN or any of them, and you see the man look earnestly at you, and you know he's reading off a prompter, but he's pretending not to, does that...
Your prompter's back there.
Sorry, does that make him more or less credible? Right? Of course it makes him less credible. I want to know as a viewer that there is the potential for calamity. A light could fall, the rain could start, any number of things could happen. At least if you're going to serve that up in a nonfiction world. So I guess that's just a long way of saying it's the mistakes and the way people deal with them that oftentimes create the very authentic moment we all say we want. Aside from leading the free world in a pretty memorable way, Reagan had that, he had that set of muscles, and it was fun to watch him flex it.
That's the way Mike Rowe heard it.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, home to Major League Baseball, the National Football League, and NASCAR.
Three, two, one, see ya.
We are